Godot is life changer for you and for every game developer. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the constant updates it receives. Recently, Godot 4.03 was released as a maintenance release, which is mostly about bug fixes. This also applies for the Android version as well. So follow me as I try out this new version and I tell you why it's a life changer for you and for everyone. Now let's start. Let's firstly download this new version. In order to do this, go to the official website of Godot you are seeing right now, and you can download the version from clicking this button. But before doing this, we can actually check what's new in this version by going to the latest news. We can see this is the latest new about Godot maintenance release 4.03. So if we click there, we are going to see the complete post about this new version. I will be leaving the link to this post in the description down below if you want to try it out. Here, something that is very important to consider is that this new version is a maintenance release update. This means that no actual big changes are being updated. So this new version is all about fixes. As you can see, for example, it says almost every area was touched upon with bug fixes and stability improvement. Or for example, we also have some improvements to the overall user experience and documentation. Also, as usual, we can download the version or we can try the online version. We are going to try both. We also have the complete list changes right here. But as you can see, everything is related to bug fixes. And well, as you can see, it's a very short post. So once we know that things, we can actually head to download this version. We are going to click where it says download latest 4.03, and here we are going to download the version, in my case for Windows, but if you aren't on Windows, you can click here it says see below and you can download it from a bunch of other platforms. Remember, you can download the normal version or the version with C# support. As I am just going to be trying out basic things with GD script, I'm going to download the normal version, let's say, and now everything is being downloaded. Remember that in the zip file we have two other files. The first one is the executable and the other thing is just the console. So I'm just going to open here the executable, which is going to be automatically extracted by WinRAR, and here we are in Godot. Now let's try the desktop version. As it is a maintenance release, we are not going to see a lot of changes about the interface or about the workflow. Let's create a new project. I'm going to name it version 4.03 and I'm going to create a new folder in my project path. I will leave the renderer as default and I'm going to click create and edit. Now let's just wait a couple of seconds because Godot, as you can see, opens a project in like 5 to 10 seconds or even less. So as I had expected, the interface is very similar to the other versions and everything seems very similar. Also, in the last video, I received this warning here and some people in the comments tried to help me out or to clarify why this happened. And basically this error is about, well, here I will read, it's saying you need to specify your file path for Blender in the editor settings because the setting is enabled in the project settings. So let's just try to fix that warning. Obviously this warning aren't going to make something in our game or in our project. But well, if you have just opened a project and you receive a warning, I believe that isn't cool, and that obviously this should be fixed by default by Godot. So I'm going to go to the project settings here, and here I should look for a Blender, I believe, or something like that. Okay, so here under file system import we have our Blender, and by default, as you can see, it's enabled. If true, Blender 3D scenes files with .blend extension will be imported by converting them to GIF or something like that. This requires configuring a path to a Blender executable in the editor settings. So Yes, so as we haven't determined the path for the Blender and we have this option turned on by default, we're receiving that warning. So I believe that if we turn this off, change settings will apply to the editor after restarting. So let's save and restart. And now I think we shouldn't be receiving that warning, and yeah, that's right. So thank you all for helping solving that, and now, well, you know how to stop that warning coming up. So to try this try things out, I'm going to make something very simple. I will create a 2D scene and name it something like main, for example. Then I think we should add some sprite or some object we can interact with it. And as a texture, I'm going to quick load the icon of Godot, and also I'm going to center it. Then by pressing Ctrl S, I'm going to save the scene. Now that we have our sprite, what I'm going to do is to change the modulate by code so that the color changes, obviously. In order to do that, I'm going to attach a new script to our sprite with a template of object empty. And now here we can start coding. I would like to change the color of our sprite as soon as the game launches, so that's why I'm going to be using the function ready, and here I'm going to type modulate equals color.red, for example. As a result, when I press run and I select my current scene, we should see here our icon in red. Yeah, nicely done, because also the game window works perfectly fine, as you can see. Let's now try the web editor. In order to do this, you just go to the platform section of the website. So you can just click here, it says see below, and here select web editor. As you can see, now here we are in 4.03 version, and we can start the editor. I will try not to make any kind of trim in the video so that you can see the real loading time. As you can see, it was pretty fast, I could say. I'm going to create again a new project, name it version 4.03, create a new folder, select the compatibility renderer because it's the only one I can use right now, and I'm going to click create and edit. Again, this can take a while because it's actually creating our project and we're using a web editor version. But okay, here we are. I'm going to make something very similar to the desktop version. But before doing that, it's very important to say that this web editor version, if you don't know, it's currently under test. It's not meant to be used to create complete projects and to publish projects, because for example the only renderer you can use is compatibility. You can't use other renderers. Also, there are a lot of bugs. Maybe if you are programming, adding things, coding, adding scripts and that kind of things, you may face some errors. Maybe your browsers closes, or literally any other kind of problem you may face. So if what you want to do is to create complete projects, publish them and everything, so then you should obviously download the desktop version. The desktop version is like 100 200 megabytes. I don't really remember, but it's less than a gigabyte. So just download it and use it from your desktop version, not from the browser. I believe the browser is just for experimental things. If you want to quickly experiment things, or you are abroad, you are not in your house, you are not with your high performance computer and you want to use Godot, well, maybe you can use this, but that's very important to consider. Now that you know all that stuff, let's create again a 2D scene, name it main. I will add a sprite node. I'm going to quick load the icon, move it down, add a script with an object empty template, and then here in the function ready, I'm going to change the modulate to color, and here I'm going to change it, for example, to blue, for example. Then I'm going to press play and I'm going to select my current scene. I will have to save it first, and here we are. As Something funny is that it actually worked better in the web version than in the desktop version. In the desktop version, it took like 4 or 5 seconds to compile everything and to actually run the game, but here in the web editor, as you saw, it was like a second. So if you wanna close the game window, just click here in this symbol and you're up to start making other things. For example, here we're receiving 9 warnings and 2 errors. Again, I have no idea about them. So if you know about them, please leave them in the comments down below. So then, why this engine is so important, why I say it can be a complete life changer for you? Well, of course, there are a lot of reasons why you can consider this engine as a life changer. I've made a complete video about that. I will be leaving the link in the description below. But one of the main things I believe why Godot is so good is the constant updates it receives. So if you are always following Godot news, you can clearly see that maybe once a week or once of 2 weeks they are putting and releasing new updates, solving bugs, adding new features. They really take care of the audience and the engine. Remember that Godot doesn't ask you to mandatory pay money or to pay for a license or to give money to them. If you don't want to, you don't have to. They survive thanks to optional donations in its website, and despite all that, they are always launching new things. That's just incredible. So anyway, do you agree with me? Leave me in the comments what you think about this engine. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, and bye bye.